practice, or can we move? Okay, because I don't think we have time to practice. All right. Huh. What do Liberia, Burma, and the United States have in common? Liberia is a little bitty country off the coast of West Africa. By the way, it is the country that after the Civil War and before the Civil War, they thought, they had this mindset, and I say they, I mean the people that lived in the United States, that black people and white people could not live together in a society at all. So what they proposed was, when the slaves were free, they would send them all back to Africa, and they could live there, and white people can live in America, and things would be great. Now, obviously that didn't happen, but that country, Liberia, was where they wanted to send the slaves after they were free. And by the way, Liberia is the only country in the world, except for ours, that has the name of their capital named after a United States president, Monrovia, because James Monroe was one of the people that had that idea of Liberia. And believe it or not, the idea of slavery being an issue was before the Revolutionary War all the way up to the Civil War. So that was a thing the whole time in the United States history. So Liberia, Burma, I don't know any interesting facts about Burma, except they have a Burmese python. And the United States. What do they have in common? They are the only countries in the world where the official language of measurements is the English measures of inches and feet, and almost all the other countries in the world have adopted this. Now, in the 1970s, you probably remember this, the United States was on this thing, and our thing was we were going to go metric.
Road signs.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Spent millions of dollars changing them.
Yeah. And it didn't happen because people in the United States didn't want to learn something new. But don't you see how easy the metric system is? It's way easier than all those other weird random numbers. So, yay, go US. All right. Did anybody watch the TV show Lost? Yes? Okay. Do you remember the episode where Charlie finds out that it's not Penny's boat and he puts it on his hand? Yeah, I'm a nerd. Sorry. That's why I have that picture here. Yeah. All right.
So I'm going to ask a dumb question.
No, don't ask it.
Why
There's no such thing.
Does Burma also have the, like, I understand the United States and Liberia because people, but why would Burma? Sorry, yeah, dumb question, I know. Things like that.
Now, in a lot of Europe, or like when I went to England, it was on the other side of the road. I would never drive there. Oh, Lord. Okay. So, next week, we do not meet. But sometime next week, you need to come back here. And behind Noah and Darren's desk is going to be this bag. Okay? And this bag is full of goodies, math goodies. Here they are. Okay? With these sheets. You have, I think, 7 things that you have to do. So start on page 8. Pages 8 and on is what you're going to turn into me. All right. God bless you. And the first 7 pages, 6 pages, are the directions for the activities that you're going to do and record here. So the first one you're going to do is called the big jump. All you need for the big jump is a piece of tape and a metric ruler. By the way, this is a meter. Okay? It is 100 centimeters. It is 1,000 millimeters. This is a meter. So what you're going to do is you're going to put a piece of tape on the floor, and you are going to jump. Okay, so that's, you need to try, it would be ideal to me if 2 or 3 of you would come together and do this together as a small group. So you're going to jump, and then you're going to measure the distance of your jump. And if you're like me and you're like not really into jumping, take a big step and that'll be okay. So,
It'd be kind of odd if we came to school and did that ourselves.
yes. Everybody like, what is that weird girl doing? But if a bunch of people do it, you don't look so weird, right? Not as weird. All right, so the big jump. Your name, and if whoever you work with, again, you don't have to, but I would encourage you to work with somebody else. You're going to do 3 trials. And you're going to measure the distance of your jump in centimeters for each one. Then you're going to find the mean, the average of your jump in centimeters. Then you're going to convert your average to meters. And then you're going to convert your average to millimeters. Got it? That's the big jump. The second one is tantalizing temperatures. Guess what you need for that? Thermometer, okay? All you do is hold your hands together and follow the directions. So, on here, number 2, tantalizing temperatures, put your name, your resting hand temperature in Celsius. It's just a button to switch between. And then after rubbing your hand, record. And then if you have like a couple people with you, you find your average temperature. And it says outside temps. I'm not going to make you go outside unless you happen to be here on a warm day, which I doubt it. All right?
Yeah, I like that.
The next one is the penny boat challenge. That's why I put on there, not penny boat. I'm a nerd. All right. So you're going to fill this container up a little bit with water. That's another reason you don't want to do this by yourself, because it'll be like just a lot of work to do for just one person. I will tell you that one of these has a hole in it. That's why I doubled them up. Okay, I need to get some new equipment. Alright, so you're going to put a little bit of water in there. You're going to get one of these pieces of aluminum foil, and they're 10 centimeters by 10 centimeters. And you get one. And you get 30 centimeters of the tape that I just had out. You're going to make yourself a boat. Okay? And once you get your boat in the water, you're going to start adding pennies. And you're going to see how many pennies you can put in your boat until it sinks. And that is the penny boat challenge. You record your name and how many pennies. If you're the only one doing it by yourself, you can do 2 of them. I may not have enough of these 10 by 10s, but I have extra aluminum foil. You can make your own. All right, let's see. Cotton ball flick shot is almost exactly like the jump. You put a piece of tape, you flick the cotton ball, and then you estimate the distance, and then you measure it to the nearest centimeter. You record your answers. You get 3 trials, the average in centimeters, the average in meters. Don't forget at the bottom to what Kentucky Academic Standard does this activity most closely align. They might all align to just a couple. The right-handed marble grab. I have 2 buckets here. This one, you'll pour the marbles in here. You'll grab a bunch of marbles. You'll put them in this container. You'll use the scale, you'll level the scale out to 0 with this on it, with nothing in it, so it's 0. And then you put the marbles in here and measure the mass. So, you estimate how many grams you think you're holding, you measure how many there are, and do the math there, okay? Next is left-handed sponge squeeze. So, you fill up one of these containers with water. You put the sponge in it. You lift the sponge out. You pour the water into the other cup. And I think you estimate first how much, yeah, you estimate how many milliliters, and then you observe, and you do that twice. Okay? Now, why would I do this? If I were a teacher teaching elementary school, I would, instead of having my students just fill out a worksheet, I would have them do things like this. Not all at the same time like you're going to be doing them, but different days, different times, talk about different measures. So it's engaging and interactive. They're practicing. They probably don't really know what a gram feels like, how much a gram is, but they will know after this. Things like that. And then the last page says, why is it better to do activities like this instead of just a bunch of worksheets? What challenges might students face? What challenges might you face teaching these activities? So describe the things you would need